Coming up on Lindenwood News. A St. Louis officer is killed in the line of duty. We have the details on what Lee is up to in his passing.
Plus, St. Louis Veterans Affairs performs 2 patient implants of a new heart device. What this means for other patients.
And a 70-year-old kidnapping case is finally solved. We have the details on how the clues were put together.
Those stories and more ahead on Lindenwood News.
Welcome to this edition of Lindenwood News. I'm Elizabeth Boaz.
And I'm Jia Buck. A St. Louis police officer was struck by a car on Sunday morning while on duty along Interstate 70. 44-year-old David Lee was responding to a one-car crash near Grand Avenue when he was hit. Lee was rushed into emergency surgery and died at the hospital. Officers were able to detain the driver of the car and were saying there were signs of impairment. Lee is the 167th police officer in St. Louis to die on duty.
Voters in Kirkwood will see a new proposal on their ballots in November to increase the city's current sales tax rate by half a cent. Kirkwood mayor says this increase will generate around $3 million for the city. It will be used on road construction. While many Kirkwood residents feel that their roads need resurfacing after years of patch repairs, some worry that this is just the latest price increase in a post-pandemic era.
A man is executed this week for the 1998 murder of a newspaper reporter. Bonne Terre State Prison put 55-year-old Marcellus Williams to death by lethal injection on Tuesday after multiple attempts to spare his life. His execution was repeatedly postponed due to a compromised DNA evidence. Williams was given capital punishment following a guilty verdict for the murder of Leisha Gale in 1998. Gale was fatally stabbed more than 40 times in her home during a burglary.
The cardiology team at St. Louis VA just performed their first 2 surgeries with a new implant device. The device is called the Watchman Flex Pro. It is designed to help folks with atrial fibrillation go off blood thinners. CDC says that this condition is when the upper chambers of the heart are beating too fast within a regular heart rhythm. This condition affects up to 6 million Americans. St. Louis VA has now performed 2 patient implants of the device. They hope to start working on more structural heart interventions to save lives.
Straight ahead on Lindenwood News, a 15-year-old convicted of a serious crime learns her fate. We will tell you what the jury decided. A 15-year-old in Rankin, Mississippi, receives a life sentence for the murder of her mother and the attempted murder of her stepfather. Carly Gregg was seen on the home surveillance camera shooting her mother in the face in the kitchen. She then shot her stepfather in the shoulder before he got away and called 911. Gregg's lawyers claimed she was having a mental health emergency. Her lawyer plans to appeal.
A 6-year-old boy who was kidnapped more than 70 years ago is finally reunited with his family. Louis Albino was playing with his brother in a park in Oakland when he was taken. The family never gave up hope that Louis was still alive. Police say it turns out that the boy was flown across the country to live on the East Coast with another family. Thanks to Ancestry DNA, old photos, and newspaper clippings, the Albino brothers are reunited.
7 officers are hurt after a deadly car chase in Long Island, New York. The chase started near Nassau County after a man refused to pull over during a traffic stop. The suspect then tried to run over 2 police officers. He then drove the wrong way up the highway, hitting a car before police were able to box him in. When the suspect got out of the car, the police and suspect opened fire. The driver did not survive, and his name has not yet been released.
The food delivery company that used to be known as Schwann's is going out of business. The company is now called Yellow. Yellow will be winding down operations over the next 2 months. The company says that more than 1,000 people will be affected by the closure. The company was founded in 1952 in Marshall, Minnesota. November 8th will be the last day that folks will be able to get their products from the company.
The Princess of Wales has released a video about her completion of chemotherapy on Monday. The 42-year-old princess appeared alongside Prince William and her children and described how her chemotherapy has affected her. Kate expressed relief at completing her course and how the cancer journey is complex and scary. She plans to make more public appearances as she continues her recovery in the coming months.
Bring out those umbrellas. We have lots of weather ahead. We'll show what area is affected. Welcome to the weather. I'm Emma Hickerson. In the south, we have lots of mixed weather coming in from Mexico. It then changes into some consistent warm air with some light rain moving into Illinois to Canada. In the east, we also have some mixed weather going through Ohio down to South Carolina with a chance of slight rainfall. Now we also have lots of cold air from Minnesota coming down to Colorado. Now for our local map, we are seeing consistent temps here in our area. So now in St. Charles, St. Louis, and in Maryland Heights, it'll be 76 degrees across the board. Now in O'Fallon, it'll be 75 degrees, and in St. Peters, it'll rise up to 76. Now for our weekly forecast this week, we have a nice forecast of 70s coming in on Thursday. We have a high of 76 and a low of 58. On Friday, we will have a high of 72 with a low of 64. For our weekends we have on Saturday, we will be having a high of 72 and a low of 60, warming it up at the end of the week. Sundays will be a high of 75 and a low of 62. Monday, I'll be a high of 77 and a low of 62 degrees. That's all that we have for weather. David, what's going on in sports?
City SC came out on top over San Jose this Saturday. How two newcomers made it happen. Coming up right after this. Welcome to sports. I'm David Kruse. Soccer newcomers Cedric Teuscher and Marcel Hartl led St. Louis City to a victory over the San Jose Earthquakes. Teuscher put City in an early lead in the 4th minute of the game off of Jan Horn's first career assist. Hartl scored his second goal in his 5th career appearance on a PK after drawing a foul. St. Louis City will come home happy hosting Sporting Kansas City this Saturday. Kansas City Chiefs maintained their undefeated season after a tough game against the Atlanta Falcons. After injuries weakened the Chiefs' offensive line, the Falcons were in position to give KC their first loss of the season. In the last minute of the game, the Falcons were on a 3rd and 1 on the Chiefs' 13-yard line. One touchdown would have put the Falcons ahead, but they didn't move past the line of scrimmage. Some changes are set to take place within the Cardinals organization over the coming weeks. The Redbirds led NL Central from 2000-2015. Following 2015, St. Louis had only won Central twice in 9 seasons. After the Cardinals' last home game of the year, Wilson Contreras told reporters that while he does not expect to be going anywhere, he does want his 3rd year to end better than his first 2. That's all for sports this week. Back to you, Elizabeth.
The 52nd Great Forest Park Balloon Race took place on Saturday. Balloon pilots from across the country gathered to take off in a race around St. Louis. The St. Louisians say they were in awe from the sight of dozens of colorful balloons dotting the skies. Pilots say one of the best parts of the event is inspiring kids and entertaining people. The winner was announced later that day as Joe Nusralla, flying the Blue Moon banner. That's it for this edition of Lindenwood News. I'm Elizabeth Boaz.
And I'm Jia Buck. Thanks for joining us.